Morning.
Hello.
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 Happy Monday, everybody.
Ugh.
Ugh. Really?
Yeah, I had a good weekend, but then it's back to Monday.
Yeah, but this is different experience.
Video is
How's the view on the? What does that look like? Is that easy to see?
I can't really read it well.
So anybody want to try sharing your
Like, you should
screen
probably
right
increase
now?
the screen
Everybody's
thing.
confident
That's what I'm
to share
doing.
your screen?
That better?
Yeah, that looks readable.
Good.
Oh, start turning homework on Schoology. Okay.
Yep, you're the first to see it. These are
I
my.
guess.
I couldn't put these on Schoology because Schoology was not accessible this morning.
You guys can rate
So you can do it right now?
If you can get on Schoology, yeah.
what's the reaction.
Okay.
So, and then all the new homework, I haven't even put that into Schoology. I'm going to be doing that all this week. I'm going to be taking care of a lot of grading stuff
I
starting.
think it'll be helpful if you put the homework after the lesson corresponding to the homework.
What do you mean?
Like, say, like you finish 12-1 and there's a homework assignment. I think like right after lesson you should be putting the homework assignment on Schoology.
How about
Well,
like-
if you guys are writing down the page, then when you go into Schoology, you'll just see that page.
Yeah.
That's easy to do. Yeah. So, I mean, all the other ones are from before. I thought we were going to be back in 2 weeks. So I thought we would deal with it after. So now,
Yeah, they said it might last for like forever. Not forever, but like for the rest of the
throughout
year.
this whole school year. Yeah. So now that's the plan. So now what I have to do is I have to start going in and updating. It hasn't been updated in a while. So I have to put in all the assignments I've given you. I haven't put them on there at all. So I have to start adding those today.
When do we turn in the past homework that you assigned?
And now.
Oh.
Yeah, on Schoology. You'll have to all take pictures, help those out who've never done that before. I think everybody's done that. Doesn't everybody have teachers that made you turn stuff in on Schoology already?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody should know how to do that. What do you take a picture and just upload it onto that homework?
You would just pretty much take a picture, email it to yourself, and then just download the file and put it in as a file.
But I've not done it from the student end. When you upload it, does it upload to the assignment?
So you would go to the assignment, and then there's going to be a submit assignment button in the top right.
Yeah.
You click that, and then there's going to be like a little file looking thing. You click on that, and then it'll give you access to your downloads where you can then drag it in.
So I haven't done that. So I wonder what that's going to look like on my end.
I'm not sure.
I'm looking at them. I'm wondering if it's going to just show, oh, something's been submitted, and then I can just look at it.
Also, I'm curious, are you going to be grading based on every single question being correct, or are you going to do it kind of how Ms. Farnley does it, where it's like, are you just doing it correctly, and are you showing your work and trying?
Neither.
Okay.
It's going to be how I've checked homework already. How do we check homework? A student goes around to see if you've done it and shown your work, right? So I don't have time to look at 200 homework assignments or 200 students' homework for each one.
Oh, okay.
I just don't have time to do that. And every problem, thousands of problems per assignment is not feasible. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to see, did you show your work? Did you do the whole problem set? Move on. It's going to take me a lot longer just to open up everything. Before, the student checks the homework while I'm setting other things up. I don't even do that. Then I got to start grading all the retake tests that students turned in before we went on leave. And then we got to test you guys on chapter 10. And then on 11, that's coming up soon.
After you assign new homework assignments, when will they be due?
As soon as you can.
So
You know,
like for the first few that have been assigned, are there going to be like no real due dates necessarily, but just turning it in as fast as possible?
yeah.
Okay, and then sooner than later, we'll probably just be turning them in like 2 days before the next assignment or something like that.
If you don't turn them in, after a certain time, I'm just going to mark it missing. And soon as
Okay.
you see them turn up as missing. So, and I'll give everybody a reasonable amount of time. Everybody should have been doing them already. So technically, everything should be done by now that I've assigned. So I'll give people time to turn them in, but by the end of this week, if there's anything missing, I got to mark it missing. So that means students who've been saving them because they thought they're not going to do them till later, that was a mistake. 20 participants with a minute to go. I hope we get more people. It's Monday, but still. These updates are important for everybody to hear. By the way, how's that campaign going where we're getting all of our friends who have not been joining us to come in here? I need to see 100 students in here.
Well, I forgot about that.
I'm looking at the questions now. Yeah, I have these updates on there in Word so that I can answer these questions. They're not due today. You're going to submit the homework on Schoology.
I can't hear you.
Well, others can. Say something if you can hear me.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
All right, here we go. I have 8:30. Let's get started on updates. I only have 23 people in here, but they'll have to watch the video, and I'll remind them to go look at the video for the updates. And you guys can, communicate with each other. And when Schoology comes back online, I'll put the updates on there. So let's get to it. Let's start with homework. A lot of questions have come in. Good morning, by the way, everybody. Happy Monday.
Hello.
Start turning in homework on Schoology now. You're going to take a picture. You're going to upload it to the assignment. Once you see the assignment, the page number in Schoology, that is.
Can I scan it?
Assuming, don't interrupt for right now. Let me go through all the stuff and then you can ask questions. Scanning it, however you want to do is fine. Just you got to upload it to the assignment. If you don't see the assignment in Schoology yet, I'll be doing that today and tomorrow, trying to get all that in there. But once you see it there, you can upload it. I'm hoping everything gets uploaded by the end of the week. After Friday, if I don't see it, I'm going to mark it missing.
So everything is done Friday?
Basically, yeah. Get it all done by the end of the week. Okay? If you haven't already.
All last week's homework and this week's homework too?
Yeah, technically everything that I've already assigned should be done by now anyway. It's just a matter of, do you have time to take pictures and upload? Okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay? And then for all assignments that you can see up on Schoology is what you're uploading. So I haven't put all the new stuff in yet. So you can't do it yet. You can still take the pictures though and get them ready to upload. Okay, and then once you see them, keep checking. Now I couldn't get into Schoology this morning, so that might affect my ability to get that up there, depending on when that comes back up again. But anyway, start turning in all your assignments on Schoology that you see the page number for. Okay, and I'm
Right
gonna
now?
start there as soon as I can.
No, not now.
Any questions on homework? Okay. Graded, ungraded assessments. Students have been asking me, hey, I took a retake or something like that before we went on leave. I haven't seen anything. That's because I haven't done anything yet. I thought we were going to be coming back, so I put it aside. Now, this week, I'm going to be working on them. Okay, so I'll be grading past assessments throughout this week. So just check in from time to time on Schoology if that's you've retaken a test and you're waiting. Or any tests or quizzes that I still hadn't graded when we went off, I'm going to start grading those starting today. So look for those. Okay, and then some students said they still need to take a retake. So Tuesday, tomorrow, I'm visiting the campus. All the teachers are going at different times to pick up materials that we didn't know we were going to need. So tomorrow, I'm going to get all my assessment materials. That means tests, retakes, things like that. That means that I will, by Wednesday, be able to start talking to you about retakes. All you're going to have to do is contact me on Schoology if you need to do a retake. And by Wednesday, I should have those materials and I can upload those so that you can do a retake. But you'll have to make an appointment with me to do that. Any questions on retakes?
You're saying you thought we were going to come back. Are we not coming back?
We're not coming back when we thought. Which
Yeah, it's been announced that until at least May 1st.
we thought we were going to come back.
After spring break, we have another month of quarantine.
Well,
Okay.
that has not been announced yet, as far as I know. But that
It has been announced that it's until May.
probably. Oh, that has been announced?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they announced it this morning.
It was announced that it was discussed, and basically it's going to be said.
Yeah, if like
Okay.
unless something happens, it's
That's
until
fine.
May.
That's neither here nor there because that's how we're going to play it anyway. We're going to play this as if this is it for the semester. We're going to do it this way.
Actually, that is here. We're stuck in our homes.
Yeah, okay. So going back to this, let's stay with the relevant information for now, just to make it sure everything stays clear. We're going to go on as if this is it, and this is the way we're going to do it for the rest of the semester. So everything's going to be back on now, which means assessments, homework, and all that stuff, which is why we need these updates. Okay,
Hey, Mr. Rosenthal,
yes.
for turning in the homework, sorry, I was here a little bit late. Like where do you turn the homework?
Take a picture and you will upload it to Schoology underneath the assignment page number in Schoology. Okay, and your friends
All right,
can
thank you.
do that. You probably have uploaded assignments to other teachers before. I would be surprised if you haven't done that already, but all students have, if not all. So you can ask them how to do that. It's basically uploading the file on Schoology under the assignment. You go into the assignment and upload your assignment. Okay, geometry tests. This is what everybody's going to want to know about. How will it
Wait,
work?
tests. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. I thought
How are we going to go through the year if we don't assess you on it? So how are you going to get a grade? Okay, here's how it's going to work. Students are going to take the test live during this meeting time. Okay, not today, but I'm going to tell you when the test is going to be. So we're going to do it live. It's not like on your own time. Okay, and this is how the best way I can get accountability is to do it live. Okay, so students will take a picture and submit your test on Schoology. Okay, and it will be after the meeting, you'll have a small window once the meeting is done to upload it. So maybe like a half an hour window afterwards. Once the
Wait, we have to scan it and upload it?
you have to scan it or take a picture of it and upload it within a half an hour of finishing the meeting.
Okay.
And then the timestamp. Okay, so it's really important that more than ever you have to show all your work. Okay, because there's no way of me knowing. It's very difficult for me to know if you actually did it or it was, you did something where you sent it to a friend or a friend sent you answers and things like that. I can't stop that. So the only thing I can do is really, really be strict on showing your work. So if your work looks the same exact thing as somebody else, when it shouldn't, when it was, the chances of that are slim, where, different students would show different work in different ways. You're really going to have to you're really going to have to show your work to get the credit this time when you can. And I have to be flexible with you on that as well. So just use your best judgment. You have nothing to worry about if you take it with honesty and you do it yourself, which is what you want to do anyway to make sure you know how to do this. Okay, I remember I said that the retakes will still be available. Okay, so you want to make sure you understand how to do the math. Okay, all right. Now, if you do not submit on time, your test will not count, and you'll have to take a different assessment. And remember, that second assessment is not like the review. The first one is. So you really don't want to miss that submission window. All right, because when you take if you miss the submission window and you have to take the alternative test, it's not going to look the same. It's going to be from the publisher. Okay, and so when you take the one from the publisher, it's a different kind of thing. I mean, some of you might think that's an advantage. I think it's a disadvantage because it doesn't look just like the review that we've been working on. Okay? And you can't get out of the you know, like we have the law of sines, law of cosines. You'll have to do that either way. Okay. Actually, the law of sines and cosines, I don't know how I might not even be able to have that problem count as much because you can just copy it and paste it on there.
Or we're still having the test that we postponed.
Yep, here it is. Chapter 10 review today and tomorrow. Some of you already know it, but we're going to do the refresher anyway. You've seen the problems, some of the classes have not. So today and tomorrow, we'll talk about chapter 10. Wednesday, we're going to take chapter 10 live. So maybe that gives you enough time to communicate to the other, looks like almost 60 geometry students that aren't on right now. And I'll put it on the updates, but you need to put it out there. They need to be here live to take it. Okay. And then if they don't do that and they don't come in at all, and then they don't check on Schoology for updates and they're just not participating in this distance learning and they're not doing it, they're going to get a 0 on their test and it will make them fail the course. Okay. So I don't want that to happen. So
it's not allowed to do that because it's either a pass or fail for this year at least. It only counts as a pass or fail, and the kids.
Oh, really? I didn't hear this. Where did you get this information?
From the my mom told me that she got it from the LUSD page.
Oh, it said that the courses will be pass or fail?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, I have not heard that, but maybe we'll talk. My teachers will be talking about that. We're going to be meeting on Zoom with the staff every Tuesday. So
what about the SBAC tests?
That's canceled.
Seriously?
No SBAC.
No SBAC.
Are we gonna have
They've
to
canceled
retake
everything.
it, like at the beginning of 8th
All right,
grade
guys,
or 9th grade
let's
or wherever we're going?
Hold on. Let's save those questions. I have an agenda of items I want to cover. Okay. All right. So if it is pass or fail, then and students just don't take any of the tests, they're going to fail the course. I'm not going to pass students that choose not to participate. You know, and so that's an expectation that. So if you have friends out there you know that have not been checking in, please, for their benefit, tell them they're going to fail the course if they don't check in. So I really expect on Wednesday to see almost all, if not all, participants taking the test on Wednesday, chapter 10.
So the pass or fail is going to be completely corresponding to the grade, or no?
Assuming that that's the case. I have not been told about that. That doesn't mean it's not true, but wait for me to make it official. I'll have to.
So if it is, then how would you decide if it's a pass or fail? Would it just be based on the grade, like, okay, a C or above is a pass? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Or
so the pass or fail is going to be, if you pass,
it might even be D and above is a pass.
D and above? It's supposed to be like C and above.
Well, there's a difference between Science Academy, the way that we do things, and pushing you on to the next course. But the district and the state allow, I believe, a D as a passing score.
So we have to do passing score as D?
I don't know. That's one of those details I'll have to get from the staff.
Wait, so say we got a C on the test, right? 75%. Yeah. So as long as we get that score, we can pass, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you don't know that yet. So nobody has told me that they're not going to have grades.
But
okay? So as of right now, I'm under the impression that there are A's, B's, C's, D's, and fails. So I wouldn't even take that approach. Try to get an A and don't worry about the pass or fail. It shouldn't be a matter of pass or fail. The pass or fail thing is really for people that are just taking a long summer vacation way early. We just don't want that, okay? And hopefully nobody's doing that. But I am definitely only seeing 43 participants, and I have about 100 geometry students. Okay, once we take the test Wednesday and you submit it on time.
43 participants, 23. So you know.
I'm sorry, what?
Instead, there's not 23. There's 43.
I said 43. I read it right off the thing, didn't I?
Oh, sorry.
We'll have to see the video, I guess. It doesn't matter. Okay. So Wednesday, we take the test and we submit it up to a half an hour after you can submit. And then the window closes. And if you don't submit it, you'll have to make an appointment with me to do, I guess it's like a retake. And then you can't retake it after that because you're taking essentially the retake if you miss the first one, which is from the publisher. Anyway, Thursday we start.
So what time do we take the chapter 10 test?
8:30, like right when we start, 8:30 to 9:30. And you have until 10 o'clock to submit it. Got it?
We have an hour 30 to submit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you'll do it live for the first hour. It will be on Schoology. So you
What do
guys.
you mean by live?
Yeah. We'll be taking it in a Zoom room for an hour, and then we
I'm
have
gonna
30
have
minutes
Zoom,
after
and
that.
I'm gonna sit here and answer any questions. Like if you're looking at the directions and you have a question, I'll be here to answer those. And then you'll be taking it at the time. And then you have essentially an hour and a half, like we do in class, to get it submitted on Schoology. Okay? So that little extra time that it takes to scan it or take a picture, you know, you're going to have to, you know, time it so you don't miss the time to turn it in. I'm going to go off the meeting. I'm going to, I have to close the meeting so I can start my 6th grade meeting. See what I'm saying?
A little bit overwhelming, but
I can't hear. You got to speak up. Is somebody asking a question? I can barely hear.
No, I was asking a question.
I hear somebody.
No, someone's asking a question.
There, on Zoom, there's a maximum of 100 participants in a meeting.
I don't have more than 100.
When you take the test.
I don't have more than 100 geometry students. I have like 98 or 99. Okay. All right. So basically you have that hour and a half once we start to get it uploaded. Where are you going to find the test? I'm going to upload the test on Schoology right before our meeting starts. So you might even be able to get started on the test a little early, 10 minutes early maybe. If you can get it off Schoology about 10 minutes before class starts, 8:20, I'll have it on Schoology. Hopefully Schoology's not down. If it is, we'll have to postpone the test till the next meeting. Okay, on Thursday, if everything goes as planned, we're going to start reviewing for Chapter 11, which we just finished. Okay, I'll give 2 days of review for that. So Thursday, Friday, review. Monday, we're going to take the Chapter 11 test the same way we do the Chapter 10. Same rules. Any questions about that? Great.
Question about the test. So if students have like extra time necessarily, like if they have a 504, is that still going to be given to them?
It is given to them because the test length is only supposed to be an hour. And you're being given 90 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And actually more. If I'm submitting the test at least 10 minutes before class, you're being given 100 minutes to take a 1 hour test. Okay. All right. Unless you have unlimited time. And if there's something that says you have unlimited time, that's different. But I've never seen that before. Okay. Grading window. That's the last update. The grading window is already open for the 10-week grades. So I'll be probably getting those in by the end of this week if I can get all my grading done. So look for the 10-week grade to be in by the end of this week. All right, so wherever anybody's at, I wouldn't worry too much about the 10-week grade. It's not a permanent grade. It doesn't go on your transcripts. And then there's this new information that it's a pass or fail anyway, maybe. So you're going to have to wait to see what comes in on that. But as for now, assuming that it's an A, B, C, D, F scale still, I still wouldn't worry about the 10-week, all right? Especially since we're all transitioning into this new way of doing things. Nobody's going to look at this and judge you based on the 10-week. Maybe your parents will, I don't know.
If you do find if it's a pass or fail, will you be updating us on Schoology about it?
Oh, every piece of information I get, every possible chance I can, I'm going to pass along information to you. Okay? All right, guys, let's start our review on Chapter 10.
Yeah.
Now, some of you have already seen this. So don't shout out answers. Remember, put answers in the chat, okay? And then I can see your answers. If I'm looking, I might not be looking. Come on, close it down. All right,
Wait, Mr. Rosenthal, I have a question about the test stuff.
go ahead.
So how are you gonna give us the test?
I'm gonna put it on Schoology. You'll have to download it or access it on Schoology.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll have to, of course, write everything down on your paper. All right, and then if you can print it out, that's the best, so that there's an answer key. I'm gonna need you guys to put it in a form where I can quickly see all your answers. So I'm gonna need you to either make your own answer key if you can't print out the test. But the best thing would be to print out the test, and then it has the answer key on it, and it has the original problems, and you can do the work right on top of it. Okay.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Yes.
would we have to copy down the questions if we aren't able to print it out?
No, but the answer key, yes.
Okay.
No big deal. Answer keys are easy to make. 1 bar, 2 bar. All right, here we go. First problem. Find the area of each figure, round to the nearest tenth. Get your calculators out. Starting off with a real difficult one. Remember little b, little h, because we're not doing volume right now. We're not doing 3-dimensional. So 2-dimensional this chapter. So you're going to see the dimensionality comes down and everything gets simpler. Okay, half base times height, that's what you have to know. If you forget the constant, you're out. You're going to lose. Okay, 20 times 4, 80, half of 80. And there's your answer. Questions? No? Okay, great. Okay. You're welcome to do the problems along with me. Try to get them out ahead of me. And this one?
Mr. Rosenthal, what lesson are we on?
This is chapter 10 review. And I'm going to increase I'm going to zoom in here. You guys can work on this problem. Let's go to 200 and see what we get. That's a little much. Let's go to 185. There we go. Okay, that's a square. See what you can do with that. Okay. Different ways to do this.
Use my algorithm.
Well, you know what? We're going to talk about your algorithm today. We're going to get everybody those algorithms. And that's going to make everybody's life a little bit easier. Okay. Maybe we can talk about, since we have review today and tomorrow, maybe we can talk about how we got them.
Like trig functions?
Is this a 45, 45, 90 triangle?
Let's wait till we get to that. What was that question?
Is this a 45, 45, 90 triangle?
If you do this, yeah. If you draw the
Yeah, it does look like it.
Well, this is 90, right? So this is 45. This is 90, and this is 45.
Yeah, because like you're splitting it, you're diagonally cutting the 90 degree. So
yes, and so you're doing
that's 45, 45.
This is 5, and this is you have to divide by √2. So this is 5 √2 over 2.
Wait.
Or instead of dividing by √2, you could make the triangle an entire.
David, we've already done this, so I don't want you to give that away. I'm gonna show both ways. I want people to think about it the long way, and then that will help them appreciate the shorter way.
Okay.
Okay. So if that's 5 √2 over 2, because that's one of the legs of this 45, 45, 90, then this whole distance here is 10 rad 2 over 2. And so this whole distance is 10 rad 2 over 2, which is 5 rad 2, of course, right? Okay, so then the area of this whole thing would be 5 rad 2 times 5 rad 2. You get a 25 times 2, which is 50.
be
square
doing
millimeters.
more.
I'm hearing somebody in the background talking about something.
We'll be doing.
Somebody's saying something about Wednesday, what we're going to be doing. You got to mute that. Okay, so this is the long way to do this problem. There was a much shorter way to do it. All you have to
5
do,
millimeters and like.
it's a matter of perspective. It's how do you see this object? Well, a square is a rhombus. And the formula for a rhombus with given diagonals is 1/2 d1, d2. And so we know that if this was 5, this diagonal's 10, and the other diagonal's 10, well, then you could have done 1/2 10 times 10, which gives you 50 real quickly. So your answer's in.
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, understanding is really important to know both ways and understand all the ways to do it. You know, out in the world, you don't know that the easy way is always going to be available to you.
4 times 5 times 5 times cosine of 45 times sine of 45 equals 50.
I mean, right now, more than ever, I hope that you guys are realizing how important all of this math and science is, and how, you know, learning how to problem solve and understand all the different ways to solving a problem is so crucial, you know, in protecting ourselves in the world. People are out there right now that are at the top of their game. Great problem solvers are working on these problems right now. So we need to maintain that in our society. We must keep being good problem solvers. Okay, so if you ever were wondering, why are we doing all this stuff? Hopefully now it's clear to everybody. Okay, let's move on. All right.
So are all the tests going to technically be open note?
I can't stop you.
Okay.
They can't stop us all.
I can't stop any of you. There's no way I can stop you.
But do you approve of us using our notes or no?
I don't think that you should. I think that you should try to do everything you can as if you know, how much do you actually want to learn and be good at mathematics? Remember, next year, this is not going to be going on. Next year, you're going to be back in the classroom. Don't atrophy. You know, when you don't use your muscle or your brain the same way, you take a load off for the rest of the time, you're gonna experience some atrophy. Just like if I stop using my muscles, the muscles will deteriorate or atrophy. So will your brain. So don't do that to yourself. You're gonna cause yourself suffering later on down the line. So let's go ahead and delay gratification if possible. Okay, here you go. This is 18 meters. This whole thing is 20 meters. This is 60 degrees. We assume that this is a parallelogram. Find the area. Okay, well, opposite angles of a parallelogram we studied are congruent. I have now a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. Okay, I have the hypotenuse here of that triangle. Okay, so I know what the short leg is here. This piece here is half of that. And so the height here is whatever the short side is, times what?
Times the base.
No.
I mean, rad 3.
Times rad 3. That's come up a lot of times. So by now, I'm hoping you guys are really trying to pay attention to that and know how to use your special right triangle ratios. Okay.
I thought you were asking something else.
So remember, it's base times height for a parallelogram. Okay, your base is 20. You now have your height. It says round to the nearest tenth. I'm not going to spend time doing that. You can put that into your calculator. Okay, and that will be in square meters.
Didn't see how you got 9. Could you explain how you got 9?
This 9 here?
Yes.
Do you see what type of special right triangle this one is?
30, 60, 90.
Right, and this is the hypotenuse. And we know that the short side, which is across from the 30 degrees, is half the hypotenuse. We derived that from an equilateral triangle. Start with an equilateral triangle, which is also equiangular, right? We cut that in half. So this is 30, right? If this side was 2x and this side was 2x and this side is 2x and you just cut this side into 2 equal pieces,
Then it's x.
yeah, which is, look at the
1
relation.
half 2x. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you going to solve out 180 by 3?
No, I'm not going to do that right now, but you are on the test. Any questions about this? You guys, this is what your test looks like. Very similar. You're probably going to get a 30, 60, 90 on problem number 3 or 4, whichever problem this is. You're probably going to get the same situation happening. Okay? Any questions about this? Let's go to the next one. Again, you can start trying to solve it while I'm erasing.
We can't see it
You can't? Why not?
because it's up there on the TV and you're facing the board.
You cannot see the problem?
Nope.
It's because the camera's too low.
Oh, yeah. That's true. How about now?
Yes.
Ah.
One.
Formula. Average base times height. Okay. Well, the average of 2 numbers is right in the middle of the 2 numbers, right? It's 15. There's your average base. Height is 10. Multiply them.
Wonder what 15 times 10 is.
Wonder no longer. No, we don't want to do that. We want you to wonder constantly. All right. Any questions about the trapezoid? That one's straightforward. Moving along. And you will have one on Wednesday. Okay. This one, you really just need to know the formula and then get your calculators out now. You can do it the long way. Draw yourself an altitude and use trigonometry. Let me go grab my phone. What's the formula?
Sine of
1/2
64.
BC sine A.
That's crucial. You need that. You need that formula. You must have that formula in your head now. Where did the 1/2 come from?
1/2 base times height.
The formula for the area of a triangle.
1/2 base times height. Well, you have 1/2 base. Remember what C sine A is. That replaced the height. Right? Imagine a height here. This is the angle A. This is C. Sine of this angle is H over the hypotenuse, opposite over hypotenuse. Then you multiply by the 9 on both sides. So it's going to just be 1/2 the base, that other side, and sine of the included angle. And we'll go ahead and calculate it this time in our calculator. You go ahead and do the calculator practice. Times 64. Make sure your calculator is not in radians. I got 28.3. And this is in inches, the square inches.
I got the same thing.
Any questions about that?
Slightly forgot about BC sine A. So the BC represents what again?
Well, what do you think B represents? It's a triangle.
Right. So B would represent just
Base.
whatever length you mark B. So it'd be 7.
Yeah.
And then 9 would be represented by C, I assume.
Yes.
But so wait, would we just assume to establish each letter?
I'm not sure what you mean by that question.
Like, is the top right side always going to be A, the bottom one going to be
No.
B in the okay.
Not at all. Any two sides of a triangle are adjacent. Pick any two sides. These two sides are adjacent. They're next to each other. So this could be B and C. These two sides could be B and C. These two sides can be B and C. But whichever two you pick, there's only one included angle between them. Okay? So the B and the C, and then the included angle between the two that you pick. Why pick these two? Why didn't I pick these two? Because I have the information for these two. I was given 9 and 7. And I was given the included angle. It was all given to me. In other problems, you'll have to find that with the law of sines. So right now, you're just given 2 of the sides and an included angle. It doesn't matter what you call them, B and C or A, or it doesn't matter. All that matters is you have 2 sides given with an included angle given. Now, the derivation matters. 1/2 base times height is the area formula for a triangle that you know. Well, that 1/2 base is right there. The height of this triangle right there, you don't know. But you do know some trigonometry. If you draw an altitude, that's a right triangle you now have over here. Can you picture that? Is anybody there?
Yeah. Little.
Oh, yeah, so if you draw a height, if you draw an altitude here, that's a right triangle you're going to get over here. Opposite is the height. Hypotenuse is the 9. Sine of 64 degrees is equal to h over 9. Multiply by 9 to solve for h. That's what gives you, that's what this part is. That is the height. 1/2 base times height. C sine A is equal to the height. That's where the formula comes from.
Mr. Rosenthal, is there any way for you to turn off chat?
Why?
Because it's not doing anything right now. Just people spamming.
Okay, you guys, just stop spamming. I don't want to turn it off. I want it available
Yes,
if people
thank
want to
you.
use it. Just don't spam. How about that? Okay, just stop making comments. All right, in there, unless you need. Okay, moving on to the next problem. All right, these are the ones where you're going to be doing most of your time on. So you might want some time to practice this. Area of a regular hexagon, given the apothem, separate problem. You're not doing these at the same time. Separately, you're going to find the area of a regular hexagon if the radius is 20. So we're going to have to start in on these separately. And here's where David's formulas are going to work. If this is a hexagon, which means n is 6. 6 sides. David, what's our formula given the apothem?
N a squared tangent theta.
Is it? What's theta?
The half angle.
Can we derive this for everybody? What is theta going to be equal to, by the way?
30.
Remember what we do to find the angle. How do we find this angle here? How do we find this angle? It was 360 divided by n. And then we had to half that. Right? So theta, the half angle there, is equal to 180 over n. This is how we came up with deriving pi, by the way. And I did that, I think, with all of my classes. We derived pi using the polygon. We kept increasing the amount of sides. Okay, and so that we use that same theta. Okay, so once we have the apothem, what did we do? To find the area, what was our formula? 1/2 AP. Right? So how did this turn into that? David, how did this formula turn into that formula? You guys are all still there, right? You guys are very quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, we're here.
David, how does this
The parameter is x times 2n.
Okay, let's start talking about perimeter. All right, everybody, this is x here.
Also different.
Okay,
But don't worry.
this is 2x. Okay, and then the perimeter has to be this side, you gotta watch carefully, times however many sides there are, which is n. So it would be the perimeter is equal to this side here, 2x, n amount of times. Okay, what happens when you plug this in here? You get 1/2
1/2 and 2 cancel out.
times 2xn. The 1/2 and the 2 cancel. All right, so now I have AXN. And I'm starting to look at this. I have an A and an N. I am looking for, how do you get an extra A? Because we have an A here. How do you get the extra A? And where do you get the tangent theta from? Well, it's got to come from this. What you don't see here is the X. So somehow this X has to be equal to an extra A and a tangent theta. Well,
A tangent of theta equals x of y.
Tangent of theta, this angle here, is equal to opposite x over adjacent A. And look at that. Solve for x. Multiply by A on both sides, and there you have it. A tan theta is what x is equal to. Okay, so you get this formula. This formula came from, we started here. I know the board's messy. We started 1/2 AP, and we were able to substitute in to get a quick formula. What do you need in this formula?
The number of sides in the apothem.
N is the number of sides that will always be given to you. Number of sides and the apothem. How do I get this angle? That angle is 180 over n. Always, for all the different, for pentagon, hexagon, octagon, heptagon, decagon, it doesn't matter, n-gon, the number of the degree of this angle, or theta, is always going to be 180 over n. Okay? All right, so then you have this formula. This formula is the quickest way to the answer to this problem. Watch how we do that.
What is this problem ask?
6 times 20 squared times tangent 30.
If you follow this formula,
We're doing 1/2 AP.
yeah, I'm not
I
even
can't see
doing
this.
1/2 AP. Watch this. N is 6 for a hexagon. The apothem is given, and you're going to square that. What's the angle? Okay, well, you might have to find the angle if you didn't memorize. Okay, so if it's 180 over n gives you theta, and it's a hexagon, 180 over 6 is what? 30. This is going to give you the answer right away without doing anything here.
The camera kind of fell. Can't see this.
Say again?
We can't see the screen. The camera fell.
Okay.
You can.
I'm going to get 20 squared is 400. 400 times 6 is 2400. So it's going to be 2400 tangent 30. And I can do that now. And I'm going to get 1385.6. And that is going to be square feet. So if I know that formula, which if I'm giving you the test and you're at home and you have your notes available, my goodness. Now, the problem with that, of course, on my end and your end, mostly your end, is you might just say, all right, I don't really need to think anymore on this problem. I already got it. So maybe I should throw in, you have to learn how to derive it. I don't know. Maybe I can add some extra things to the test like that. Derive this formula if you're going to use this formula. Otherwise, I want you to do it the other way, which is, how do we do it the other way? Basically the same way that we derived that formula. So let me do the same problem. Since we have today and tomorrow to do the review, I don't mind taking a little extra time here. How would we do this problem otherwise, the way that we did it in class? Well, I'm going to use 1/2 AP.
We would use tangent to find the half depth of the side and then do the perimeter, right? And then 1/2 AP.
Okay, 1/2 AP. Apothem was given. 20 feet. So you already have that. You just need the perimeter. Well, you need then to find that. This is double that. And then since it's a hexagon, you're going to multiply that times 6, which will give you all the way around. And then you see, oh, this is opposite the angle. This is adjacent the angle. Again, how do I get that angle? The long way. 360 divided by how many sides gives you this angle here. And then you're cutting that angle in half to get the half angle. Okay, or the formula 180 over n. And that will give you 30. So this is a 30-degree angle. Well, you don't need to use tangent if you have a 30-degree angle. You could if you didn't have a 30-degree angle. But we know that the long side here, this is a 30, 60, 90, is 20. Across from the 30 is the short side. Now the short side is half the hypotenuse. We don't have the hypotenuse. That's the radius. That's in the next problem. That'll be easier in the next problem. Right now you have the apothem. So to get from the long side across from the 60, to get the short side, you have to divide by √3. All right, so that x is going to be 20 rad 3 over 3. Okay, double that to get the whole side, 40 rad 3 over 3. And we're going to come down here. And then times 6, because there's 6 of those, and then we'll have the perimeter. 240 rad 3 over 3. And the 3 and the 240 simplify. 80 rad 3 is the perimeter, which I can then put in here. Okay, and then what do you have here? You have 800 rad 3 if you simplify all this. And then we can do that in the calculator and see it's the same answer. The answer, by the way, that I still have in my calculator, 1385.6. We're going to get it this way. 800 times rad 3 equals. Same answer, 1385.64. Okay, so you can see, knowing that formula saved us a ton of time, just like the square problem with the half d1, d2. And guess what? We have a formula when you have the radius, and we have a formula when you're given x. Right, David? Okay. Any questions about the first one up here?
Yeah, there's a formula for x.
Hold on. Any questions about when you're given the apothem on how to do the regular hexagon?
So I have a question about the first way, David's way. So are we going to have to show how to derive it on the test? If so, if we use it?
You might have to.
Just know it anyway.
Do you know how I derived it? Start with 1/2 AP.
Right. And you just simplify it down and figure out, basically all you're doing is figuring out why a squared times tan theta is equal to a times p.
Yeah, and I can do it again for you if you want me to do it.
That would be great.
Yeah, let's derive it again. Let's get all this off the board. So you have an n-gon. And this will be the derivation for any-sided. the area is 1/2 AP. Given the apothem, you have it. You don't have the perimeter. X, and then this side is 2x, and then 2x times n is the perimeter, which will substitute in there. Okay? So I can plug this in now, but let's find out what x is. X for this angle is tangent of that angle, right? I don't want to do it there. I'm going to be plugging in over there. So tangent of this angle is equal to opposite over adjacent, which is the apothem. When you solve for x, you get a tan theta, which now is going to go in right there. So the perimeter is equal to 2 times a tan theta times n. Okay, so this whole thing can go in for a perimeter. And what ends up happening is this: 1/2 a times 2a tangent theta n. And start canceling things. That becomes a squared. We'll put the n in the front, use the commutative property. Na squared tan theta. There you go. Got it? Notice it didn't matter whether it was a hexagon or not. That's for any n gone. Given the apothem, then you have this nice formula. Remember how to get theta? 180 over n gives you theta. N being the amount of sides. Okay?
Wait, can I please copy it down?
Yes.
You don't already have a copy down, Daniel?
Oh, come on.
Not the derivation.
Let's not do that publicly. Oh yeah, you want to copy down the derivation. Then all you have to do is just copy that down onto your test now. Oi. See, that's why this whole thing is never going to there's never going to be an accountability answer, I don't think. I think the only way to do it is to make the test hard, but then whoever can do it can still share all the answers. So that's still not an answer. There's no security in it.
If everybody keeps the video on
No.
while we're taking the test.
So Mr. Rosenthal, you think that virtual learning is impossible?
No, we're doing it right now. Are you learning?
But you said that it doesn't work.
Wait, hold on.
Some people don't have cameras.
Are you learning right now?
Yes, but I wouldn't say not as effectively as we would if we were in school.
Well, that's a different question. Are you
The laptop made before 1993 has a freaking.
All right, here we go. Watch this. Let's change this out. And let's do this as if you were not given the apothem, you were given the radius instead. The formula for the area is still the same. But now you're given the radius. So we can derive it without David telling us, because we already know he knows it. What is the relationship between the opposite and the hypotenuse?
Sine.
Ah. And then what is the relationship between the apothem and the radius?
Cosine.
Cosine. So you're going to need to get that and that this time. Okay? So let's first talk about cosine of theta is A over R. So A is going to be what? Multiplied by R on both sides. A is equal to R cosine theta. We're going to plug that in here. Okay? And then I'll color code this so we can see it. In red, let's find perimeter. Remember, we have X, then we have 2X, right? That didn't turn out the way I wanted it to.
Wait, Mr. Rosenthal, what are you doing right now?
I'm going to find perimeter. Okay, this is 2X and then 2XN. Okay, 2XN is going to be the perimeter. But what is X? Okay, so that'll be opposite over, you're given the hypotenuse, right? So sine of theta is equal to X over R multiplied by R on both sides. X is equal to R sine theta, okay, which you need to plug in here. So this, I'll expand this out, 2 times x, but x is r sine theta times the n here. There's your perimeter. Okay? So now you have the perimeter, you have the apothem, put it all together. Well, red and blue make purple, so I'll use purple. Okay? So I have 1/2. I'm doing 1/2 AP here. Okay? Apothem is right here. R cosine theta. Perimeter. Perimeter is right here. Times 2r sine theta times n. And let's let the canceling begin, or simplifying begin. 1/2 and 2 are gone. You have the n here. Okay? You have an r and another r, so you have r squared. And then you just have these two. Sine theta, sine theta. This is your formula given the radius.
Yay.
It looks very similar to the other one. The other one was NA squared, and this one is NR squared, because you're given the radius. You wanted it in terms of the radius. This one, you wanted it in terms of the apothem.
Couldn't you also plug in what A is equal to into the old formula, the other formula, the one with that uses A?
Well,
it would just, couldn't you plug
these are
that?
not the same hexagon.
What I'm saying is that the formula for the area of a hex of not a
N-gon.
hexagon, whatever. You know what the area
Of an n-gon. Area
of an n-gon. Yeah, area of an n-gon, that the one that David's formula, couldn't you plug in what A is equal to in that to get this formula using for that has radius rather than apothem?
Well, how are you going to get the R on there?
You wrote down A is equal to R cosine theta. Couldn't you put in R cosine theta in A? Substitute R cosine theta in A.
Yes, let's do it. I love it. You guys are on fire. Here we go. Let's do that. So, Zig is saying this. Zig is saying, well, we already have that other formula. We have that the area is equal to, what did we say? NA squared tangent theta. Well, if that's what the area is equal to, and you have an A here, and you're able to solve for that here, let's plug this in for A. You have N, and then we have A squared tangent theta. Let's plug in for A what A is equal to here. A is equal to R cosine theta. Okay? How do you square R cosine theta? You guys probably don't have the training for that. So
Tangent is sine of a cosine.
okay, hold on. Let's look at how we do that. N R squared cosine squared theta times tangent of theta. Now, this is going to require that we do something. It's going to require that we talk about how these tangent, cosine, and sine are related. Okay, so I'm gonna, since I don't have the smart board, I can't just come up with a separate screen for this. I do have the other tablets. Give me a sec here. So maybe I can use this to show.
I'm gonna go over just a problem.
Cosine times tangent must equal sine.
Okay, let's say I have the unit circle
David, just let him.
where the radius is 1. Okay, radius of the circle is 1. When I draw this altitude here, I have the right triangle. All right. We did this with vectors. That's X and that's Y. Okay. You have the angle here. Right. So what we say is that sine of the angle is equal to what? Opposite over 1, right? So Y is sine. This is sine of theta right here. And then what did we remember this horizontal piece is?
Cosine theta.
Yep. Cosine of theta is what? adjacent over the hypotenuse of 1. The adjacent is x. X is cosine theta. So then answer me this. This is going to help us go back right now. Tangent of theta. What is that? That's opposite y over adjacent x. But what did we say y and x were in a unit circle? Right here.
Sine theta and cosine theta.
So this is the same as sine theta over cosine theta. Tangent theta is sine of theta over cosine theta. Now remember, if I don't have a unit circle and this scales up, remember similar triangles, if I multiply that by 2.1, then every side gets multiplied by 2.1. And what happens if both of these get multiplied by 2.1?
And he's gonna go.
They cancel no matter what. 2.1 and these will cancel. So however you scale this up or down, this triangle, to dilate it, to reduce it or enlarge it, the sine over cosine also get reduced or enlarged by the same amount, and they cancel out of the problem. So no matter what triangle you have, tangent theta is always equal to sine theta over cosine theta. Okay, so how does that help us? Let's go to the problem now. How do you deal with this? Watch this. Cosine squared theta is the same as cosine theta times cosine theta. Times, what did we just say tangent theta is equal to? Sine
Cosine theta
over cosine theta. What happens to that cosine theta? It's being multiplied times cosine theta, cancellation. There's your formula. N r squared cosine theta sine theta. So yes, Zig, the answer is yes, you can take the first formula and plug it in. Of course you can, because the first formula was true.
You just have to know the trig identity.
You have to know that's a trig identity you're going to be dealing with next year. Okay, so you've all gotten, now it's on video. You can always go back to this. It'll be on YouTube later. Next year when you're doing trigonometry, you'll already have a nice head start. Okay? All right. Daniel, you're learning?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So what? So now what do we do with this new found information? Now I have it. I've derived it. I have power now. We're just going to do this problem and stop because it's already after time. So here we go. We have n r squared cosine theta sine theta. Okay? It's a hexagon. The hexagon has 6 sides. N is 6. Radius is 20 in this time. Different hexagon than the first one. These are different hexagons with different areas. Okay? 6 sides. Radius is 20. Cosine of the angle, we know how to find that. It's 30 degrees. Sine of 30 degrees. Everybody, last problem. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator, see what you get. This is still 2400 here. And I will do the same. 2400 times cosine of 30 times sine of 30 equals. And hopefully you got what I got, and it's a much quicker problem. 1039.23. You got it, 0.2. And this one's in square feet. Okay. Thank you, David.
By the way, there's a third formula.
Yeah, there's a third formula. You guys can, that's a nice project to do on the side on your own. We can talk about it when we come back tomorrow. See if you can come up with a formula the same way we did here for what if I gave you X instead? Now, when would that happen? What if I didn't give you this or that, but I gave you a side length, right? And then you can cut that in half to get X. What would be the quick formula for if I gave you a side length? Then that, knowing in terms of X, would be a third formula. We'll talk about that when you come back. Now, one thing I want to add. Remember, we're going to test Wednesday, but one thing I want to add is I'm going to start doing maybe 5 to 10 minutes of office hours. After we conclude a meeting, I'm going to stay on for 5 to 10 minutes to take questions. That being said, you are dismissed for the day. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll be available for the next 10 minutes for.
Thank you, Mr. Rosen.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, so this
You
the
dumb
nr
kid.
squared cosine theta sine theta is the same as the other equation we found, just deriving a further.
Exactly. It's not deriving A, it's deriving, you're using 1/2 AP.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is you're replacing A and P in terms of R.
Oh, okay. And on the test, should we be expecting that R? Like, would I be able to use this equation if I wanted to, if I understand how to derive it?
Yep.
Okay.
You'll be given an apothem for one way, and then a separate problem, you'll be given the radius.
Okay.
Okay?
Mr. Rosenthal,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about the homework.
Okay, go ahead.
So, can I show you this problem with the video?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a sec. How do you flip this?
I'm going to pin your video. If you put your video up, I'll pin it so I can see it bigger.
Okay. That problem, how do you find the area of the triangle?
Okay, you got to hold it still because it's blurry. It's trying to focus. So just yeah, there you go. Okay. So let me do this on the board. I got to just leave it right there and don't move it. Let me see if I can turn this around. Looks like
Son, where are you? Why are you never talking?
So I know the lateral areas. I just don't know how to get the top and bottom triangle.
All right. And then it looks like you have a 10 back here.
A 4, yeah.
It looks like down here you have a 6. That's this here. And then try to keep it still. This one is 8. And then a height of 4. Okay, so you want to know, well, then you know this is 10, right?
Yeah.
Because that one's 10. And look, you have a 6, 8, 10. That means that this is a right angle.
Okay.
So the area of this triangle is where you find that perpendicular box. And where you find that box, you have a base and a height in any order. So 8 times 6 is 48, divided by 2. The area here is 24 square meters.
But how did you know that it was the right triangle?
It's a 6, 8, 10, which is a dilation of a 3, 4, 5.
Oh, right.
Similar.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and also, Mr. Rosenthal, can we come to school and get stuff out of our locker or no?
No, I don't think so. And I think that that's a big no, but I'm not the one to ask officially. I would call or email Mr. Lauchu, but I highly doubt it. I'm 99.9% sure you will not be allowed on campus. Okay?
Okay.
Imagine if they had open campus.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
You got it. Anybody else have questions? I know I see 12 participants. I don't know what this is down here. These little in the chat. Anybody know what those are? Yeah, I have. Yeah, what are these things here? Click to download. What are those? Who sent those? I'm not opening that. I don't know what that is. Okay.
It's a guy who didn't give his name.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. So I don't know why there are uploads there or things to download, JPEGs to download. Definitely not going to be opening anything like that. Okay, any questions? If not, I'm gonna say have a great day and see you tomorrow. Anybody?
Can you
guys do not post stuff like that? Who is doing that?
Young Sanders.
Who is this here?
Oh, David. David.
Okay, that person's gone. D iPhone. Yeah, you guys cannot put inappropriate stuff on here. That
was Young Sanders.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Do you know what student that actually is?
No.
Yeah, okay. So that's a little security breach right there. I might need to do a new invite for everybody to refresh that.
Okay.
Yeah. So make sure hopefully nobody else broadcasts anything like that. Okay, any questions anybody?
Can you post the test agenda that was at the beginning of the lesson?
That's a good idea.
Schoology.
Yes, I can do that. Okay. So is there any particular part you wanted to see?
It's just kind of the whole thing because I was late to getting on because I couldn't find the link.
No problem.
So I just missed that first part.
Okay, so homework, we're going to start turning in homework on Schoology now. You take pictures and upload it to the assignment that you see in Schoology. Okay. And then I will be grading this week. Things that I was going to wait till we came back, but now that's going to be prolonged. So I'm just going to start grading this week. So look for things to come in. Retakes will be available starting Wednesday. Student makes an appointment with me to do a retake. Tomorrow I'm going in to pick up all my assessment materials for retakes and regular assessments. We will be taking the Chapter 10 test this Wednesday, live in the morning from 8:30 to 9:30, and you will have till 10 o'clock to submit your test on Schoology. If you don't submit on time, you will have to take a separate alternative assessment that won't look the same. It won't be the same as the review that we worked on. Okay, the questions will be asked the way that the publisher asks them. Okay, so that's there. You have to show all your work. This Wednesday, we're taking the Chapter 10. We reviewed some today. We'll review more tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to review Chapter 11, and same with Friday. On Monday, we'll take the Chapter 11 test. Okay, and then the grading window's open, so I'll be working on grades. By the end of this week, I should have all the grades in. That's my goal. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
You got it. You betcha. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting now, so I'll see everybody tomorrow.